Hi there, Rick here. I just saw a very interesting video. Um, the title, okay, is called, okay, it's on YouTube. A 3.9 trillion gold revaluation, okay? Trump's about to change the gold price forever, okay? Um, Clive Thompson, okay? He's talking about this this gold revaluation. If you watch some of my other previous videos, okay, I did mention it, okay, in my previous videos, okay, just saying that, the president can revalue gold, okay. It would really help out the U.S. government, okay, because it would give them the U.S. government a lot more money to work with, okay. He was also saying it would wipe out the entire deficit for 2025, okay, because things are spiraling out of control right now, okay. I think I mentioned to you every 100 days, the U.S. government is paying what? $1 trillion in interest, okay? By revaluing gold, okay? You have to remember, President Roosevelt done it way back in the 1930s. I think it was 1933. And, okay, it went from $20 to $35. Okay, Clive Thompson is talking about gold being revalued to $15,000. Okay, that's a lot. That's almost like 5 times right there. Okay, and what would that do to the price of silver? Okay, I would think that silver would have to go up 5 times too, and that would bring it to about $200 an ounce. Okay. He was also saying, okay, Clive Thompson was saying this, okay, it would have to be done in, utmost secrecy, okay, because, look, if you knew that the U.S. government was going to revalue gold in the next few weeks or next few months, okay, you would probably try to position yourself.
You might want to check the connection settings in the Google
you would probably try to position yourself so that, yeah, you could, make some money in this situation. Maybe buy some gold mining stocks, maybe buy some silver stocks. What else? Go out and buy some gold, right? Because if you go, that would be, almost like a $10,000 profit right there. Yeah, that would almost be like a $10,000 profit right there, from 1 ounce of gold. That's a lot of money right there. Okay. If you have like 10 ounces, right? It's quite a bit of money right there. That's over what? About 100 grand. Okay. That would be amazing. And this person that you see right here, okay, he's the Treasury Secretary. His name is Scott Bessent, okay, and he made a very interesting statement, okay. He was just talking. He just made a statement about monetizing. What is it? I forget the exact phrase that he used, okay, but Clive Thompson was talking about it, just saying that there's only one thing that he could monetize, and it's gold, okay. this person, Scott Bissett, when I'm sure, what is it, when he speaks, a lot of people, listen very carefully when he's saying something, right? Because it's given some indication of, sometimes what's going to happen in the monetary system, okay? But I'm just shocked that, okay, they would revalue it that high, okay? Because you have to remember when Roosevelt done it, okay, it was 75% increase to gold, okay? If Donald Trump does it, okay, he's not, increasing the price of gold by 75%. He's increasing it by 5 times. He's bringing it to like $15,000, okay? You would have thought that maybe a previous president would have, maybe have done it, okay? At least double it, okay? Whatever the price of gold was, okay, he doubled it by 100%, okay? But just to, what is it? Increase it by 5 times, you could see the, what is it? I was going to maybe use the word, they're kind of like, what is it? In very dire financial trouble that they would have to bring the price of gold this high, right? So you can see the dire the dire situation that the U.S. government is in. Okay, if they revalue gold 5 times, okay, even Roosevelt didn't do something like that. He didn't revalue gold 5 times. Okay, but if Donald Trump does it, it tells you a little bit about how, I was just gonna say how bad the monetary system was run by the U.S. Okay, if you have to revalue gold 5 times, right? Like I say, it would totally wipe out the the federal deficit for 2025. Okay, so it's a win-win situation. I feel, okay, for the banks, because they can also revalue their books, okay, because they're holding gold too, right? And then the U.S. government is holding a lot of gold, okay? Other countries, Russia, China, right? They're going to like it as well too, because, their gold is going to go up in value too, right? So, they're going to like it, okay? But they have to keep this thing at utmost secrecy, okay? And Clive Thompson, okay, what he was talking about was there, you might see some indications, okay, a rise in gold price, okay, with no indication, of why it's really going up, and a falling dollar, okay. But remember, okay, this revaluation is going to be so sudden that it's going to catch a lot of people off guard, because I believe it's going to be done on a weekend, okay, because usually big things like this does happen on weekends, okay. Market's going to close on Friday, come Monday when the market opens, okay, you're going to see a $15,000 revaluation of gold, okay. It's going to be $15,000 for an ounce of gold now, okay. There's probably going to be a huge frenzy in the markets, okay. It'll probably make front page news of a lot of main news stations around the entire world, okay. These miners, yeah, the big miners, yeah, they're going to be really happy, right? Because this new gold price, right? It's going to shoot their stock right up. Anybody who's holding on to gold stocks, yeah, will those stocks go up 5 times? Say for instance, you have a stock, gold mining stock at say $5, okay, goes up 5 times, okay, they'll bring it to like $30 now, okay. So if you cash in each share, you're making like a $30 profit right there. That's a lot, okay. Say for instance you have 1,000 shares, you cash in what, 3 shares, okay, that's what, $90 right there, close to $100, right? So I just wanted to point this out to my netizens because this news just appeared, okay? This video was posted, what, 1 hour ago, okay? Other people, other YouTubers are talking about it now too, right? But remember, okay, I did mention it in some of my, other videos how revaluing gold would be a good thing, okay? Because it would help out the U.S. government to balance their budget. It would help out the banks. The banks are holding on to a lot of gold too, okay? So it'll help them balance their books, okay? A lot of rich people out there that are holding on to gold, yeah, they're going to be, what, 5 times richer, right? Because it's usually, I know that a lot of people out there, they can't afford gold, okay? And, it's just usually the rich people holding on to it, okay? So, they would like it a lot, okay? But you have to remember, if some of this, what is it? Some of this news start leaking out and, it causes what? Maybe a rally in a lot of, gold mining stocks, right? Maybe some of these big mining companies, they start buying up these, what is it? Smaller mining companies, okay? Because, they don't want, they want to take advantage of the situation because if gold goes to $15,000, okay, these smaller mining companies, what happens to their stock? Does it, could easily go up 5 times, okay? And then now these bigger mining companies, okay, sure, they still might want these smaller mining companies, but now it's like 5 times more expensive, right? So, this is probably one of, my more important videos for talking finance because, if you, of course, watch this video, okay? Like I say, it's called 3.9 trillion gold revaluation. Trump's about to change gold prices forever, okay? Clive Thompson, okay? If I, if I help you make some money, right? I'm happy, okay? Because you can, you can position yourself, okay? So you can come out a winner in this, right? Just like what Roaring Kitty done, okay? He positioned himself in GameStop early, okay? He bought GameStop shares for about $3 something, went to $500, okay? I figure he, cashed out, near the top, right? And I worked out my calculator. He made about, $70 million US dollars, okay? So, you have to remember too, okay? Donald Trump has a lot of gold too, okay? So, he, he probably likes, gold to be revalued too. And I'm sure Elon Musk, okay, he has a lot of gold too. He might not say he doesn't have a lot of gold, but, I'm pretty sure he has lots of gold, along with Warren Buffett as well too, right? But I think a lot of people were, I guess, hoping, like now I'm talking about the older people, okay? In their 60s, maybe 70s or even 80s, right? They were also hoping that something like this would happen as well too. Okay, and they might be able to actually see it, um, you know, play out in their lifetime now, right? Because something like this would be huge. Okay, it would send shockwaves through the markets. Okay, um, but printing money, more money to um, kind of like solve monetary problems, right? Is not always the best thing, right? Sometimes you have to do things a little bit differently, right? Like revalue the price of gold. Okay. I felt that it should have been done by previous presidents in the past. Okay, but now I think it's gotten to a point where the U.S. has to do something. Okay, uh, to balance their budget. Okay, because the spending, the U.S. debt, it's getting out of control. Okay, I remember watching Lynette Zhang, or was it Lynette? Yeah, it was Lynette Zhang. Okay, and she made a very was it important statement. Okay, she said, what is the price of gold for 1 ounce gold? Divide all the debt around the entire world, okay? And there you have it, the price of 1 ounce of gold. And I think it worked out to about 130,000, 130 to $140,000, something like that, okay? So I watch her videos sometimes. I respect a lot of things that she says. She worked in the finance world for quite a few years, and even this guy too, okay, Scott Bissett, he's also worked in the finance world for quite a few years, and um, I think he was he was an advisor to George Soros, and then he also, I think, was advisor to a large hedge fund, or maybe he was the president of the hedge fund. But I think he was more like an advisor. Okay, and because he has a lot of experience. Okay, um, he became Treasury Secretary of the United States. Okay, so he uh, he looks like a fairly intelligent man. Okay, um, doesn't look that young anymore. Okay, I see a lot of gray in his hair. Okay, um, but you know, um, yeah, do your own research too. Okay, because uh, I think, okay, if gold does get revalued, okay, um, nobody knows when it's going to happen. Okay, it could happen within the next couple of weeks or even next couple of months. But once when it starts, once when the wheels start turning, okay, you might see some. Like I say, there will probably be some indications in the markets. Okay, and some people will be able to pick these things happening in the markets. Okay, things. It's kind of like giving away that something big is going to happen with gold. Okay, I don't think I don't think Donald Trump, okay, if he's planning on doing this, he can totally hide it. Okay, or even Scott Bissett here. I don't think Donald Trump and Bissett can totally hide it. Okay, there's going to be some indicators that is going to point to a revaluation in gold. Okay, maybe like I say, some big mining companies start buying up the smaller mining companies, because if gold is going to go up 5 times, they want to uh, expand, right, and get a good deal on these mining companies before it even happens, right? Or maybe you see the volume shoot up for you know, a lot of big, you know, gold mining companies, okay, or even medium size to small gold mining companies, right? But I think it's going to be very swift, okay? Like I said, I think it's going to happen on a weekend, okay? You know, the market's going to close on Friday. And then when it opens up Monday morning, okay, you're going to see a new price for gold, okay? And, you know, whoever is holding gold or whoever bought some, you know, mining shares beforehand, right? They're going to come out big winners in this.